What's up, YouTube? Night Edge here again. Got another little quick. Well, this is kind of like a shorter on the review end because I reviewed the Penguin before. This is just like a new model of it. I actually won this off of My Journey EDC's giveaway. I'll have him linked down in the description. You want to check him out? He's got a pretty cool channel. This is courtesy of Angelo on My Journey's live stream. So really happy to have this version. I've been wanting this version for a long time. This is the golden jigged titanium Penguin. So jigged titanium on the handle, that gold nano, really nice, really good texturing on it. Milled pocket clip, another change from the regular Penguin. And also, as you can see right there, S90V on the blade, which is awesome. Really good blade steel. And a little bit of a difference also from the original Penguin, and they do have other variants of this, but this is the button lock with the flipper tab, so a lot different than the original Penguin. I already did, a full review on the Penguin, so I'm just going to kind of overview this, kind of go a little quick on it, but overall length and everything, right here, tip of the blade down to the handle, a little over 7 inches from the tip to the end of the handle, about 7 1/8, maybe 7 1/16 right there. Blade length total, you're looking right at 3 1/8 on the blade length, and cutting edge on this thing, you're looking at 2 and not quite 2 7/8, right under 2 7/8 on the cutting edge on it. So pretty good size little EDC knife right there. Go ahead and do the blade stock thickness because it might be different. Can't remember what it was on the original actually, but we'll do the blade stock thickness on this one. Thickest part of the spine, let's see, looking at 120 thousandths on that. And behind the edge, really deep hollow grind. Let's see, let me make sure I'm getting in the right spot. All the way down to 18, right around 18 thousandths behind the edge. So that's really goes down pretty good. Pretty deep hollow grind on this one, I would say. Let's do the handle. These are different than the original. 450 thousandths, under half an inch. Not significant. Pretty. Not too thin, not too thick. Pretty good handle ratios on that one, or pretty good handle profile on that one, I would say. So good. I'm not gonna do the full size comparisons, but just to get an idea, in case you don't know the size of the Penguin, there's a Spyderco Paramilitary 2, and let me move this up a little bit, get the whole thing in the frame there. And that's the Spyderco Para 3, definitely smaller than the Paramilitary 2. And a little bit smaller, actually, overall than the Para 3. But it still has just a touch more cutting edge than the Para 3. And one more here for size comparison on this one. Go ahead and do it with the original, right? That is the original. I stonewashed the blade myself, but this is the original blue jean micarta, denim micarta, I think it is actually, Penguin. This is in D2. This is a liner lock. A lot of subtle variations in this one. Both have captive pivots. Both have roughly the same blade shape, but a little bit different on the S90 one, right? And then plus it's got, this one's got it goes from, you can kind of see it, a little thicker up here, so it does swedge down with a hollow grind, kind of, I would say. Definitely not a full flat because it's all thicker up here and it swedges down, but definitely a little bit different of a swoop there, almost looks like. Now I don't know if it's, that could just be the stonewash versus the hand rub or the satin finish, messing with me, but that's what it looks like to me anyway. A little bit less hardware on this one. On the S90V Penguin, this is a traditional pocket knives exclusive, by the way. I'll say that before I forget. Only 100 of these made, from what it says on their website, of each kind. So that's pretty cool. aside from the obvious differences like the flipper tab, the button lock, you know, the satin versus stonewash, and the handles, you know, there's very subtle differences too. You got the, both of them have captive pivots, but this one has a QSP logo in it. Flip over the other side. Now look at it on the other side. You got standard QSP deep carry clip versus the milled titanium clip there. So that's one difference. And then the thumb studs also are a little bit different. Get a close up of them. Now I don't know which one to pick, because you can tell when I first started sharpening with the KME, and I've had this thing for a while, right there on that thumb stud, that's where the edge of the stone was hitting, right? So it would be nice if it's removable. Now this one's removable, right? So you can put a Torx bit in there, remove that. But one bad thing, or one thing that I don't like, but not necessarily bad, but I don't really like the thumb stud as much as I like the other one. So it just seems like it's a little less comfortable to flip than the cheaper one. Doesn't really, you know, it's not painful to flip or anything like that. It's just a little less comfortable to flip, you know. And this one seems like it's a little easier to flip. You know, the actions, of course, I've had this one for a while, so the actions, you know, dialed in, loosened up, dialed in, whatever. But anyway, there's a couple little differences from the original to this one here that I wanted to kind of go over there. I'll go over the weight too. So let me get the scale out. Get the scale, make sure she's zeroed out here. All right. Oh, I have to adjust the camera a little bit. All right, so have to reset this thing just to make sure. I want to make sure it's totally zeroed out. All right, it's at 0 now. So the weight on the original Penguin, you're looking at 3.2 ounces. 3.2, 3.3, 3.3. All right, so right at about 3.3 ounces. A little over the ounce and inch ratio, but not too much over, not too bad. This one with the titanium handle, 3.4. 3.4. So not too much of a weight difference with these two, right? You would think the titanium would be way heavier, which it is heavier than my Carta, but on this one you've got the liner in there too. A little bit of a difference there. These you just have the titanium. You know, there's no, let me get a close up in there. There's no liner, you know, in there. So I'm thinking maybe that's why that that one is not too far off, because I was thinking originally, you know, 0.2 of an ounce, not much of a difference there between the two. But I was thinking originally that, you know, when I first unboxed it, I was like, man, the other Penguin must be really light, because this one's pretty light, you know. And then I got out my old Penguin, and I was like, well, pretty close. So anyway, that's a little comparison there on those two. Put this one up, and we get out the blue jeans here. See how it goes in the pocket. Now this isn't going to be as deep carry as the other one, right? So that's about how much you'll have sticking out. It's got a milled titanium clip instead of that deep carry clip. So, you know, it won't disappear like the other one. But at the same time, you know, to me, that's not really that big of an issue. It's a little bit sticking out of the pocket. Put the blue jeans up here. Do a hardware check on it. All right, so that's T8 on the body screws. Pivot, T8. Body screws, I'm sorry. That's smaller, so that's a T6. Swap that out. Let y'all look at it, make sure. T6, right? All right, yeah, T6. T6, pocket clip screw, yeah, T6. All right, so that's all T6. Now, one thing, pivot is captive, which is a good thing. T8 on the pivot, no issues there. So that's a good thing, right? So I kind of wanted to take this one apart a little bit. That's one of the reasons I kind of rushed through the specs and everything, because this one, I love this knife. It's absolutely awesome. But it's got a little bit of lock stick. Now I did kind of loosen, tighten the pivot, played with it a little bit, you know, but it seems like it's, I don't know, it might be a little more than that. So I just wanted to take it apart, maybe clean it, and kind of verify, you know, maybe, I don't know, see if I have to lubricate a little bit on the inside, something like that, maybe. But, yeah, let's see. Not too many body screws on here either. That's a good thing, you know. The fact that it's T6 kind of sucks, but, you know, it is definitely doable with T6s. You just gotta be a little more careful not to strip them out. I have definitely stripped out my fair share of T6 bits and T6 screws, so, and I might do it right now, you know. That's entirely possible. Just because I got a YouTube channel doesn't mean I'm an expert at everything. Definitely not an expert at disassembly sometimes, right? So I think that's all it takes to take it apart. Unless those are connected. No, those aren't. All right, so I should be able, at this point, pull this out. All right. Yeah. Oh, all right, so the blade's out. All right, there we go. So that's what she looks like on the inside, right there. I'll go ahead and get some. Should have had this out and ready already, but I'll go ahead and get a Q-tip and little KPL. You can get these little KPL things off of Amazon and stuff. KPL, the company that makes knife pivot lube, they make these little mini Q-tips, I call them too, and they're really good for getting in corners and stuff like that. This is some gunny juice. Where's the? Here we go. A little bit of blue Loctite for when we get ready to go back together. And we get a little alcohol wipe. Alright. Sorry about that. Should have had all this stuff ready before. But didn't. Alright. So, got a little washer there, right? It's like it's a well-oiled knife for sure. I actually might have put a little bit of this oil in myself, so make sure everything's nice and clean in here. Now this is the part where the plunge depresses to, right here. Make sure there's nothing catching in here. There's no extra, even just like a little tiny piece of debris can cause some issues with the lockup. So that's mainly what I'm trying to do, is make sure there's nothing, no kind of accidental, you know, maybe a little burr, anything, you know, it's possible. So clean that off. All right. Now I'm going to get a little bit of the Slick-O-Mall, and before I put that back on there, well, I had to clean that off first. JD, OCD for EDC, not JD, OCD for EDC makes a Slick-O-Mall, which comes in pretty handy sometimes, especially the little applicator, you know. So just a little bit of that, not much, just a little bit, that's all it takes. All right, I put that washer back in there. So and we'll go ahead, get the bearings out, clean this up. All right. Go ahead and make sure there's no trash in there, no debris in there. All right. Yeah, there's nothing in there. Now we're going to take the bearings, wipe the bearings down. Make sure the bearings are clean. You know, we'll make sure everything's clean before going back together with it for sure. And I think I'm going to take a little bit, just a little bit of this. All right, just slick them all, very little bit, and put right there. All right, make sure that rubs in. All right, that was definitely enough, probably more than enough. I tend to do that. And take this one up. I can get this thing up here. Slide this one off. Clean it off. All right. Got that pretty clean. Washer on the other side. There's no debris or anything like that in there. I'm going to leave that one on there. Put a little bit of this stuff here. Slick them all just a little bit. It's already got a little bit of lube still on there. Giggity. All right. Put that back on there. A little bit of slick them all on this side of it too. All right. All right. So now I'll take this. This is the actual button, the lock itself, right? This is what makes it go back and forth. A little spring. Clean that up. Make sure that's clean. Clean the button itself up. I've used this knife a little bit, but not too much. Definitely, I don't think enough to justify, you know, that much dirt, really. All right, so put a little bit of this stuff in here. I'm saying whenever I say a little bit of stuff, I don't put that much at all, really. I just want to look just to make sure everything's well lubricated, you know, so it runs pretty smooth. I'm not even injecting right now. I'm just kind of spreading it around with the tip of that needle. You know, I don't want to put too much in there, which I might have already done, but you know, just try to be a little cautious with it, because if you put too much, it's gonna more or less will attract grime and dirt and stuff like that more than you know, none. But none, you know, will eventually the parts will wear out quicker. So kind of make sure you strike an even balance on that end. All right, so we get that. Now I'm gonna put a little bit. All right, I'll put a little dot of it right there just to make sure. So that's back in. I'm gonna put this back here. Put that back on there. All right. And we want to make sure this spring is in there the correct way. Oh yeah, okay. Now, put the body screws back in. I think we're ready to do that. And the pivot screw, and then we'll have it whipped, right? So, get the blue Loctite. Not too much. All right. A little bit of blue Loctite. And another thing that's good whenever you have all sizes the same, if you do all TH, you wouldn't have to swap back and forth with the bits, you know. But not really too much of a problem, and not really a super complicated knife either, as far as a disassembly goes. You know, that Hogue deck I did, whoo, man, that thing whipped my butt. So this, comparatively to that, to me, is much easier to reassemble. Now I'm saying that, but this thing doesn't feel like it's taken. Oh, there we go. Now, did I put that back the right way? That is a question. Okay, so I have to push up on this. I have to push up on the captive side, all right, while I'm tightening the screw side. So make sure everything's in there good and tight. Swap back out to my T6. Lock that down. Lock that down. Oh, that one's wanting to strip. And T6 is stripped pretty easy. As soon as you're not mindful with one, T6 will definitely want to strip on you. So you gotta be careful with that for sure. All right. Now this is definitely too tight. So we need to loosen that a little bit. Any blade play, centering on it. Centering's pretty good. Blade play, maybe a little bit. Might tighten it back up just a little bit. And I mean just a little bit. There we go. Double check this. All right, no blade play. It's centered up. No blade play. Yeah, that's a lot easier. I don't know what I don't know. I don't know what caused that. But yeah, look, I can middle finger flick it now with ease. That's crazy. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it just needed to be, have some of the stuff cleaned out of it and have it kind of lubricated a little bit. I don't know. A little lube goes a long way. Giggity, right? But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm pretty satisfied with that. It didn't take too much to kind of clean that out, Like I said, the action on it seems like whatever is gone. Maybe as I don't know, there's microscopic metal shavings on that spring or something. I don't know, but it does kind of feels a lot better to me. Action's definitely a lot easier. Yeah, action's way easier than it was before, for sure. All right, perfect. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the smoothest disassembly reviews, whatever you want to call it, I've ever had. Disassemblies anyway. But Traditional Pocket Knives has this. I'm going to have them linked below, and I'll have my Journey EDC link down below. Shout out to him for sending me this. It was free on a giveaway. I absolutely love it. Can't wait to do some more cutting with it. And until next time, guys, I appreciate y'all watching. And if it's daytime, nighttime, morning, whenever, hope you have a good rest of your evening, day, whatever it is. And until I see you again, stay sharp.